DC here. Hi guys and gals. Well, I hope you're all well. I'm trying actually a few things today. I'm trying a new remote here, and we will see if I'm able to do anything with this thing. Anyway, yes, it's working, so that's working well. It's a Bluetooth control remote, which is kind of cool in a way. And I'm also trying an external wireless microphone, which supposedly is better, especially in situations where you do want to put the camera further away, so you actually have a microphone really close to you. So we'll see how it is anyway. So, and for the whiskey drinkers, it's a Lefroy triple wood. I don't share this with anybody else anymore because I just have a little bit left actually in my bottle, so it's for me. But it's not a whiskey vlog, so don't worry about it. It's not a whiskey vlog. What I thought though I would talk about today, and it does actually seem strange because I'm not actually holding the camera right now. So we're outside, Mrs. DC is working, and so might as well do a vlog after I came back from church. And it made me thinking when I was coming back from church about sometimes you have to pick and choose, and it's kind of in that respect, I guess we could say, personal opinion about things that have gone on maybe in my life, where you have to pick and choose. Don't worry, it's not a political vlog. Now, one of the things though about picking and choosing is, like, for example, if you're in different communities, like I was brought up in in a bilingual family. Mom English-speaking community, my dad French-speaking community, and sometimes you're on the fence, aren't you? You kind of always have to choose, especially if these are communities that historically don't get along so well. I've realized actually with the years, and I mean if I'm speaking in English, it probably does show I've kind of chosen to identify myself more with the English community. Now, some could say, well, isn't that kind of self-evident? You know, English is like so big in the world and so on. Well, there's a bit of that maybe. But actually, in my case, it was taking the side of the minority. We were brought up in Quebec. Quebec is a very nationalistic province in Canada. They would like to call themselves a nation, but I'll call it a province. And I mean, being part of Canada, which is essentially English, but wanting to show their French identity, it's always been actually clear if you're an Anglophone in Canada that you're in Quebec, that you're part of the minority. So maybe choosing the minority. There will be a few words maybe nevertheless with religion, I guess, because we were brought up as Catholics. That would be another story. Because my mom was originally Anglican, brought up as Catholics. We decided to actually become Protestant, or I like to say Christian, but anyway, that might get me into another whole series of discussions. Did we go with a minority? Strangely enough, yes. In this case, of course, it was a question of beliefs, but still I realized that we went on the minority side. Without going really into politics, I'm more conservative than liberal, kind of I would say a conservative with liberal bents. So in today's world, I guess that makes the minority. Here, I mean, in Switzerland, we live actually in the French side of Switzerland, which is the minority side. So I was thinking about all of these things over and over and over. And thinking, like, it seems to me like we're always on the minority side. And at one point I was realizing that, you know, that is kind of interesting. That's, I guess, probably the side where people always feel frustrated because very often you're not actually getting what you expect. I don't know. I mean, but sometimes there are things that you have to pick and choose. There's very much today in today's world. I said I wouldn't get into politics, but I do have to get into a little bit. There's a lot about identity politics. How do you identify yourself? And very often, I mean, you identify yourself with not only what you are, I mean, as a person, but also what you feel. Now, I won't get into the biological identifying yourself. That, like I said, I'm going to stay away from that. But the pick and choose, in a way, if you're somebody who's sitting on a fence, there are a lot of times where you end up identifying, and I would say, as far as I am concerned, I know that I have my set of values, which don't change, and you have a worldview, I have a worldview, and you identify yourself within that frame. And I think that's really quite important. So that helps you to pick and choose, but also to feel happy with what you pick and choose, even if you end up being on sometimes, very often, you know, opposite to others. Now, does that mean that you can't change? I think that would be wrong to say that you can't change. I mean, we all change in life. We all have different things that happen to us, and actually sometimes we see that we might have chosen the wrong side, you know? I mean, it's like a lot of people will tend to follow, and I can be the same, I mean, follow the masses. And if you follow the masses, you maybe have chosen, but is it your choice? Have you been influenced? I mean, we see that a lot actually right now in today's world, without going into the details. That people just follow, you know, along. And that's probably, you know, a question of not actually having really picked. It's like having somebody else pick and choose for you. And, you know, very often when we sit down and think about things clearly, and then we can say, okay, that's what I want to do. And if it's the same as the masses, then it's really your choice. But if it isn't, then, you know, sometimes you have to say, no, I just won't follow anymore. And that can be hard. So now we get into this whole situation of, you know, the peer pressure. Peer pressure makes you pick and choose, but is it actually really your choice? Anyway, so you can see, I mean, this is one of these open-ended vlogs, where, as usual, and in the last series of vlogs, sometimes when I open these vlogs, these can of worms, I'll ask you, what do you think? You know, you can write it down in the comments. And I guess that'll be it. We're slowly getting ready for Christmas. You're saying, what? It's only mid of November. Well, the thing is, we've looked at our programs and we've seen like how busy it's going to be. So I actually have all the Christmas decorations out. We don't light them up yet, but we just, you know, gain some time and put them up for the moment. And, you know, because Thanksgiving in America is, well, it's late this year, isn't it? It's at the end of the month. But I mean, then you're in the Advent period, and the Advent period is really, really Christmas. I don't know if you can see it, but it's snowing. Yeah, it's actually snowing. It's not rain right now. Okay, Mrs. DC will be happy. That means there'll be snow on the road when she comes back, probably. Okay, anyway, so I have to go slowly and get things ready and so on. So how many minutes have I been talking? More than enough. Okay, so that'll be DC signing off. Take care, everybody, and sláinte.